I love my new ring. But anyway, let's get into the differences between 5 energy and 8 energy, specifically as it pertains to karma and justice. All right, so when we're talking about 5, we're talking about internal, deeply rooted spiritual lessons, internal. We're also talking about the human condition in general. Okay, so when we talk about karmic matters associated with illness, right, this is the downside of being embodied. The human state is incredibly frail, okay, and fragile. And just as you look around in nature and see trees that are cancerous, trees that have fungi and are deteriorating, right? Trees that have limbs missing, just imperfection. 'Tis the nature of physical form. And this also applies to humans. The word itself, human, has how many letters? H-U-M. I can't, my finger. H-U-M-A-N. 5. The karmic number itself. Okay, so we're talking about intrinsic circumstances, okay, and also just the nature of humanity. Now, when we take it a little bit deeper and we talk about 8, the realm of justice and abundance, but justice is the primary energy here. Also, the realm of creation, you guys. So think of it this way. This is external, whether it has to do with interpersonal matters, other people, right? Typically, that's how you plant seeds of karma for yourself, right? Or create a wave, essentially, okay? You are creating a wave when you move in a certain way. And hence the concept of karma. You moved funny, typically. You made a mismove, okay? And because of that mismove, this wave of funny, negative, nasty energy is returning to you. And this is why it's so important to know what's happening, my love, and to know what you're doing, and to listen to teachers who know what they're talking about when it comes to karma, because it's not easy. If you used to be a less evolved version of yourself, I use that term all the time because it's a perfect way of putting it, right? We're not expected to be perfect. God, our spirit guides, our ancestors, all of these beings guiding us, angels, demons, whatever, all of these energies that are involved in our spiritual journey do not expect us to be perfect. But we evolve and we become greater and we become better and we become more. We become wiser, purer, ideally, right? We could have a whole conversation about that and about the fact that there are actually malevolent souls who are meant to be malevolent souls, hence why they will be successful in being malevolent souls. But that's another conversation. But I digress. Let's get back to it. Okay, so when you are someone that is actually doing the spiritual work and evolving and becoming a greater version of yourself, and you are changing how you move interpersonally, you're changing how you feel about yourself, you're changing your mindset, you're changing your thought patterns, you're changing your approach to life, you're choosing to feed that wolf of positivity instead of that wolf of negativity, right? You're choosing to do better. You're choosing to be better. You're choosing to move better. Now, this does not immediately negate whatever negative energies were sent out to you or sent out by you previously. Okay? So what this means is that you are going to have to wade through those energies still. And the key here is making sure you keep moving properly despite how painful it might be. Because we're also talking about having to understand the spirit's role in all of this. I talk about this in my book. I've talked about this in previous videos. It is completely possible for a benevolent spirit to lead a malevolent soul and vice versa. Okay? Which means that you are oftentimes going to witness what seems unfair and unjust. That was such a good person. Why did this happen to them? That was the karma of their spirit that being had to endure. Okay? There are different facets of it. Okay? There's also the karma that's planted by us personally. There's also the karma that's planted by us in previous lifetimes. Okay? So when we're walking these treacherous paths, as long as you remain steadfast and doing things mindfully, making mindful decisions, treating people well, In due time, the negativity will subside and the blockages will be lifted. But you have to continue. You have to continue putting in that effort of being a good person. This is how you help a negative spirit ascend. Okay, that is what we're talking about when we're talking about spiritual champions, champions of the spirit. Being able to change the MO of a sovereign energy that influences you heavily, but being aware enough, wise enough, powerful enough, and brave enough to break the cycles for that energy, including breaking your own cycles. It's deep, right? But I'm here to teach you guys about it because this is how you free the path. This is how you clear the path. You have to understand what's happening, my loves. So don't be discouraged if things are taking longer than you would like them to take. Or if you're struggling, if you're like, I'm spiritual, Demetra, I'm wise, and this, I witness this all the time on my feed, especially the tarot readers, okay? In 50 cycles, right? Keep walking with strength and courage and wisdom. Don't let the negativity make you bitter. And I assure you, when the time is right, when those energies have cleared based on divine timing and how long that cycle has been ordained by God to be, you will see your work paying off. So keywords: outside, not in. 8 being outside, in being 5. Understanding the differences in these energies, understanding that one is created, right? And one is essentially a lot in life. You can choose to let your lot in life make you bitter. You can choose to be frustrated and externalize blame for what you yourself have planted. I see people do that as well. But if you can focus on what's going on in your inner world and in here, no matter how treacherous the path becomes, that's where enlightenment takes place. That's where union with divinity takes place. I had a client tell me the other day, Demetra, I don't know if I believe in God. Because if God was real, why has God allowed all of these things, health-wise, to happen to me? One after the other, after the other. My first thought was, look at Jesus. And you don't have to believe in this religion. It's the concept. It's the metaphysics behind it. It's the story that holds truth. Those who are closest with God are not exempt from suffering. The name Jesus itself, how many letters? J-E-S-U-S. 5. Again, the karmic number. All right, you guys, have a good night.